Bike packing in itself is challenging enough. The planning can be frustrating and time consuming, and then trying to find space on your bike for poop, you might be saying, Neil, I just don't have the time, energy, or space for that. I hear you, but it's also important. So in today's video, we're going to talk through ways of packing out poop and when to do so. Let's do it. Before we get into the video, I just want to take a quick moment to let everybody know that this video is supported in part by Terravel Tires. Like many cycling brands, there's a passionate group of cyclists behind Terravel. Their tires are designed and inspired by the routes and terrain they've ridden. And that's why you may notice Terravel tire models are named after regions with distinct terrain and even specific trails in some cases. So to learn a little bit more about Terravel's development process and more about their tire models, you can hit this card right here or also find a link in the description below. So first off, I don't mind saying poop. And so from time to time, I will say poop in this video. You have been warned. Poop. Why pack out your solid waste? According to Leave No Trace, the goal when properly disposing of human waste in the backcountry is to minimize water contamination, minimize social and aesthetic impacts, minimize the spread of disease, and maximize decomposition. So when you're doing your business in the backcountry, the traditional way to accomplish this is to find an area 200 feet away from, say, trails, campsite, and water sources and dig a cat hole 6 inches deep. But doing this is very dependent on whether or not you can abide by those L&T objectives. Like if you can't physically do your business 200 feet away from a water source, trails, or a campsite, or if you are in a highly trafficked area like national parks or high impacted trails where it is required to pack out your solid waste. Or if you are in an area where your poop simply does not break down very fast, such as the desert. And that last reason is why I now have a system to pack out my poop on bike packing trips. On a recent trip to Arizona, despite the current lush landscapes and intense rains they have recently seen, I knew it would be the right thing to pack out my poop. It's a good idea to have that thought process and plan when you are bike packing in arid climates such as Arizona, Utah, Nevada, and so on. So if you are going out to bike pack in a warmer climate this spring, such as, I don't know, the Peaks and Plateaus route outside of Moab, it's important to plan ahead. I've learned from my mistakes, and I'd be lying if I said I've never left to poop in the desert before. And while you may be able to rely on pit toilets or bathrooms along some routes, others are not as conducive to those methods. Plus, it's really unreliable and simply not a smart way of planning. So in an effort to reduce my impact, I started doing some research into lightweight systems to carry out my poop. I found a few good recommended methods, such as using a heavy-duty Ziploc bag, using your empty dehydrated or freeze-dried meal packs, or using a lightweight wag bag, such as the Restop 2, which is what I found to be my go-to method. But first, you'll need to figure out where your poop is going to live on your bike. Ideally, it's contained, like in a large peanut butter jar or some container where it will keep the smell in and contain the solid waste, as you just never know what could happen in a crash. I ended up using a 28-ounce Kirkland peanut butter jar mounted to the down tube. And because the jar is going to be larger than, say, your normal standard cycling water bottle, a cargo cage works really well for this. I ended up using the tail fin cargo cage with 2 smaller volet straps to secure it. I found the down tube to be a really great spot for your solid waste because, well, it's contained all by itself down there, it's out of the way, and, well, it actually holds the weight really well, especially when it's full. As far as the process, it's pretty similar to pooping in a cat hole. You drop your pants and squat. Maybe the most difficult part of this process is aiming properly into the bag. I tend to squat and open the bag with both my hands to ensure proper landing. And with the Restop 2 wag bag, it comes with a big, wide opening, so there's plenty of room to aim. But with a Ziploc and especially those dehydrated meal bags, you're really flirting with danger. In that case, it might be best to poop on the ground and then lift it into the bag. Just make sure to get it all in there or bury the remnants in the ground. Another consideration is pee. Although it might not always be realistic, I try to actually pee first because it can get a little messy. And you really don't want to add pee to the wag bag as it's going to be extra volume and weight. If you can't, just make sure to place the wag bag properly so the pee does not enter. All right, so once you have it in your bag, I like to roll it like a burrito, nice warm burrito, and then gently place it in the peanut butter jar. I've had some big loads in there, so yeah, works well, tested and proven. But if you are a big pooper, you might want to go with a larger size jar. Just some food for thought there. All right, so the reason I really like the Restop 2 is that the bag itself is super oversized, making it really easy to contain your waste. And the bag itself has multiple layers, making it extra durable. It also seals really well, and while it might not keep the smell from seeping into your plastic jar completely, it does a pretty good job considering. Plus, you can't see through it like a Ziploc bag, and the WAG bag itself weighs next to nothing and comes with plenty of TP and an alcohol wipe. And the biggest upside is that it comes with polymers and enzymes gel that helps break down the waste, so it's safe for you to discard it in any trash can when you get to one. Anyways, I hope this helped. This is simply one of many methods. So if you have experience with packing out your poop, please let us know in the comment section below. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Don't hold it in, keep on pooping. And until next time, pedal further.